Your presence here today is a show of your confidence in our abilities. This motivates us to keep growing and to keep celebrating. And what a celebration it is indeed today. Please join me in welcoming Honourable Mélanie Joly, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Canada. She is here with us today, and we are very, very delighted to have you with us, Minister. I think it was less than a month ago that she was in New Delhi for a standalone bilateral meeting, and her parting words as we met last month was see you in 3 weeks. And here she is back with us again. I think this is the first time for a foreign minister in Canada to have done 2 trips within a month. And we are very happy that this was the platform that you could join us with for this moment. It goes to show the importance that you view the India-Canada relationship, and we are here to support you as we move forward. And the celebration gets bigger, better. Please join me in welcoming Premier Scott Moore, Premier of Saskatchewan. Premier, you have been a part of our events, a part of our growth with the Chamber since many, many years. And you have always supported our initiatives. We have a very close relationship with yourself, with Saskatchewan, and we are very proud to be your face in India. And thank you for being here with us. Let me also quickly acknowledge Jody Banks, Deputy Minister, and Rochelle Bourgois, Additional Deputy Minister of Saskatchewan, for their constant support to us. His Excellency Cameron MacKay, High Commissioner of Canada to India. What can I say to describe your tremendous drive, your unstinting efforts in strengthening the India-Canada business corridor, and all this in barely a year? I think it was last year at the Gala where I had to be very politically correct in addressing you as High Commissioner Designate. I was told to be very, very correct, and my entire speech was trying to be keep to that words. It was also when I learned that to pronounce your surname as MacKay and not MacKay. And I think it was also the time when I had the audacity to introduce you and welcome you at your very own home. So thank you for being with us. You've been a true ambassador of Canada to India, and we are very grateful for your support. I'd also like to acknowledge Deputy High Commissioner Amanda is here, Minister of Trade Jennifer Daubeny, and Annabelle LaRouche, who is here from the trade team. Thank you to all of you for being a support to the Chamber. And I'd like to also acknowledge Patrick Herbert, Consul General in Chandigarh, of Canada to Chandigarh, but also he's in Bangalore, so north to south, Patrick. Thank you for stopping by. I'd like to please acknowledge and thank High Commissioner Sanjay Verma. I can't see him. I think he had to leave. But, right here. So we had kept a seat for him right in the front, but I think he just wants to emphasize that he's here on leave, on personal leave, which is why he's taken a seat at the back. I did ask him and invite him to say a few words, but he said that today he's on leave and he wants to be with his granddaughter, so he wants to exit early, so he's sitting very close to the exit. But this is your first in-person participation at our event, and we are very, very happy and delighted that you could be here with us today. As we continue our work of connecting people to people, business to business, and technology to trade, we are supported and guided by a very strong national board led by our president, Mr. Rakesh Erath, who is the CEO of Asia Pacific CGI. Minister and Premier, if you would bear with me for 2 minutes, because these are our board, and I would like to acknowledge each one of them. They are there with us through thick and thin, and they let me have the first word and the last word always. So I'm truly, truly grateful to them. So let me start with Mr. Rakesh Erath, our president, and he will be speaking a little while after this. Mr. Sandeep Asthana, country head, India Sun Life Financial, and chairperson of our Mumbai Regional Council. Sandeep. Ms. Namrata Trivedi, managing partner, Raval Advocates, and chairperson of our Gujarat Regional Council. Mr. Namrata, please, wherever you are. Okay. Mr. Arun Pandya, General Manager and Country Head, Air Canada. Mr. Jaimin Shah, Managing Director and CEO of Dev IT. Mr. Rontu Basu, Founder, Quest Partners. Ms. Kashmira Mewawala, former Head of Business Development at Tata Capital. Saurabh Bhatia, Associate Director, IBI Group. And a couple of the people that I would like to acknowledge. I'm sorry I cannot acknowledge each and every one of you, although each one of you is very important to us. But some of the people that I can see in front of me, and I'd like to just acknowledge quickly, Mr. Deepak Bagla, Managing Director and CEO of Invest India. Mr. Ajay Bisaria, former High Commissioner of India to Canada. Mr. Damu Ravi, Secretary ER in the Ministry of External Affairs. Mr. Anshuman Gaur, Chief of Protocol, I think he may have left. Ms. Nandita Gupta, Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Food Processing. If there's anybody else I have left out or not acknowledged, I'll come back and take your name. But I do appreciate all of you being here, and thank you very much for being here. I cannot end without saying a big welcome and thank you to our sponsors, without whom we would not be able to have this event. So, Government of Ontario, and special thanks to Digvijay Mehra, Managing Director at the Ontario Trade and Investment Office in India. Digvijay, for your constant support to us. Ontario is an important partner for Indian businesses and entrepreneurs. Kapil, you're here as well. Air Canada, thank you, Arun, for keeping the two nations linked on air and supporting the Chamber's initiatives every year. CGI, thank you, Rakesh, for believing in the Chamber and its vision. Fairfax India Holdings Corporation, Sumit Maheshwari. ICICI Bank Canada, thank you to the former President and CEO Sandeep Goyal and his team who are present here today. And we look forward to working with Vikash Sharma, the new CEO, in the coming years. Also to thank Jaimin Shah from Dev IT, the dynamic founder, Venkata Chunduru and Saurabh Bhatia from IBI Group, and Ladislav Papara, Vibhiv Agarwal from EDC for supporting us. I welcome our new sponsors this year, Unis Portal and M Square Media. I would now like to welcome Mr. Rakesh Erath, who is the CEO of the Asia Pacific at CGI, a professional business leader with 25 plus years of experience of leadership roles. Rakesh plays a key role in defining and driving strategy for APAC business. We are very fortunate to have him as the president of the ICBC and depend on his support and guidance. I would now like to invite him to say a few words and then formally welcome the High Commissioner of Canada to India to speak. Rakesh, thank you.
Thank you, Nadira. Good evening and welcome everyone. It's a great honor and a privilege to be here at the ICBC annual Gala event this year. In fact, yesterday I was at the NASSCOM event in Bombay, NASSCOM Technology and Leadership event in Mumbai, and Canadian companies and the government was very well represented there. In fact, the theme for this year was artificial intelligence. And I'm sure all of you here know that Canada is a global leader in that space. In fact, tech and innovation is a space, tech and innovation is a space where we are seeing significant growth in Canada. We have the talent in Canada, we have the entrepreneurial spirit to support the right ideas and business to grow in Canada. We see that the Canadian economy is diversifying. We are creating thousands of technical jobs in Canada, and I see there is a great opportunity for us to support and grow this industry even further. G20 Digital Innovation Alliance will bring together the innovation ecosystem to support the startup environment, as well as support the startups which are really working to reduce the digital divide in our community, as well as promote growth within the industry. Creating industry-focused alliances is very important. We feel that if you create industry-focused alliance, we can drive tremendous transformation and growth focused on the industry. And these alliances would include policymakers, would include experts, will include companies who will drive the transformation and growth in these focused areas. As Nadira mentioned, we continue to get great support from High Commissioner and his office. So thank you very much, High Commissioner, for your great work. I'm not sure while introducing I'll get your name or the surname right, but I'll try my best. High Commissioner Cameron MacKay, it's wonderful. Did I get it right? Yeah. So it's wonderful support what you have given us in the last 1 year. Thank you very much for that. And we look forward to your continuous support and guidance going forward. Cameron MacKay, he is a career diplomat with foreign policy and trade negotiations experience in Asia, Europe, and the Americas. Before this assignment in India, he was Canada's ambassador to Indonesia and Timor-Leste. Ambassador MacKay has a bachelor's degree in economics and industrial relations from McGill University, a master's degree in environmental studies from York University, Toronto. He speaks 3 languages, English, French, and Spanish. Is married and has 2 children in university. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that warm introduction. Good evening, bonsoir, namaste. Thank you to Nadira and the entire ICBC team for that kind introduction and for the outstanding work that you do. You, your members, and tonight's sponsors, of course, have done so much to promote the Canada-India economic relationship, not just tonight, but over the years, so thank you for that. I'd like to congratulate, while we're here, the Observer Research Foundation for hosting such a successful Raisina dialogue once again this year. We have several senior Canadian officials at this year's Raisina dialogue, including the Commander of the Canadian Navy, Vice Admiral Topshee, who was just with us. He's speaking tomorrow. Canada's Parliamentary Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Maninder Sidhu, was just here as part of a broader tour of the Indo-Pacific region, including Singapore, Jakarta, and very successful visits to Mumbai and Delhi. And of course, just last week, I think many of you know that we hosted a very important visit by Canada's Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister, the Honourable Chrystia Freeland, for the first kickoff G20 Finance Ministers meeting in Bangalore. But here tonight, we have 2 very special VVIPs. Later in the program, we'll be hearing from the long-standing Premier of the great province of Saskatchewan, the Honourable Scott Moe. Premier Moe is the leader of one of the longest governing parties in Canadian history at 15 years and counting. So there's a successful politician for you. As some of you already know, Saskatchewan has the food, the fertilizer, the fuel, and the technology to help India grow even faster and thrive even more in the decades to come. So we all look forward to hearing more about that from you a little bit later, Premier Moe, and tomorrow when you're on a panel here at Raisina as well. And of course, here in Delhi for the G20 Foreign Ministers meeting, and also as the first Canadian minister to come and speak at the Raisina Dialogue, Canada's Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honourable Mélanie Joly. This is Minister Joly's second time in India this time around, as Nadira mentioned, in less than 3 weeks, following on her visit in early February to hold the successful Canada-India Strategic Dialogue with Foreign Minister Jaishankar. In November last year, Minister Joly announced Canada's new Indo-Pacific strategy. Her new strategy recognizes India as a critical partner for Canada over the decades to come. And that's why, as India hosts the G20 this year, Canadians will stand shoulder to shoulder with Indians as we face global challenges including climate change, the food and energy and debt crises, and the persistent threats to our democracies and to our sovereignty. Of course, to face these challenges, we need sustainable economic growth, driven by business leaders like you. Many of you know that our bilateral commercial relationship now exceeds $100 billion. This is led by over $70 billion in portfolio investment from Canada's biggest pension funds and institutional investors, Canadian capital helping to build the new India, from roads to airports to renewable energy. And over $20 billion in goods and services trade, back up higher than the pre-COVID numbers. Those are record numbers, and they're growing. Plus billions more in foreign direct investment, with more than 100 Indian companies invested in Canada and more than 400 Canadian companies invested here in India, helping India to make in India. All of this will grow even faster, of course, and make both of our countries even more prosperous if we can soon conclude a win-win early progress trade agreement, followed soon after, we hope, by a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. So please do reach out to your government officials and support the conclusion of these negotiations. We'll all benefit. To hear more about how Canada and India can work together, let us turn now to Minister Joly. First elected in 2015, the Honourable Mélanie Joly has had multiple ministerial portfolios. She's a lawyer, an author, an activist, and a leader that we can all learn from. Madame la Ministre, à vous la parole. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Cameron. It's a pleasure to be back in India indeed, and it's a pleasure to be here not only with a great Premier, Premier Mo, the unbeatable Premier Mo, but also with my colleague George Jahal, who is here, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Indeed, it's the second time in a month that I'm here. Indeed, I had the chance to meet Nadira 3 weeks ago, Deepak, many of you, AJ. We had many conversations. The goal was to really give more momentum to the relationship between Canada and India. And at the time, I indeed had conversations also with Minister Jaishankar, long conversations on many different topics. But at the same time, our goal as a country that believes in multilateralism was to help India succeed in its presidency of the G20. So, following this very successful visit a month ago, I'm back here following the G20 and participated a bit earlier to the Rasaina Dialogue, which is an important venue for us to be even more participating in. Cameron mentioned that it is indeed linked to the fact that back in November we announced our new foreign policy linked to the Indo-Pacific. It is a big foreign policy shift. Why? Well, for a long time, we know that Canada has been invested in its relationship with Europe, investing through NATO, through the G7, with many of our partners. It's part of our history. We'll continue to do that. Of course, we are completely linked to the US and North America. And every day we export and import goods from North America and from the US. But fundamentally also, we are a Pacific nation. And we need to reckon that, and we need to become much more reliable partner in the Indo-Pacific. So we know that what is happening here will have impacts on Canadians for generations. There is a generational global shift happening, and it's happening in the Indo-Pacific because it has the world's fastest economic region, and also by 2040, it will account for more than half of the global economy. Of course, I'm talking to business people. You already know that. I used to be a business woman before being in politics. But my job as foreign minister is to make sure that I create the environment through bilateral diplomatic relations to make you succeed and to create good jobs here, obviously in India, but actually also back home in Canada. Our focus on India is also part of a very important diversification strategy, as we know that there are much more geopolitical tensions flaring in the region. And so we need to make sure that we invest more diplomatically with India, but also on the trade side. It is natural for us to do so. There's already a very important community back home, many of you being part of it. 1.8 million Canadians part of the being of Indian origin. And we know also that some of our most important investors in Canada that make us so proud, our Canadian pension funds, are already building the airports, the roads, and investing in clean tech here in the country. We know also that we're exporting potash, uranium, lentils, many things that we know we can even do more, and I'm convinced that Premier Mo will be talking to you about that. But fundamentally, in order to drive these investments to even put and get to another level, we need this free trade agreement with India. And I hope I can count on your support here tonight to make that happen. This is something my colleague Mary Ng, the Minister of Trade, is working on. This is something that is key to our government. And we want to make sure that we are part of these different countries having this very special relationship with India, as we have everything in our own command to make sure that that's the case. We're also investing more on the immigration side, investing in capacity in Delhi and Chandigarh to make sure that we're able to process visas even quicker. I'm convinced you all agree. So yes, indeed. So let's work together. Let's make sure that you can seize the opportunities, that you can do business, that you have access to capital, that you have access to the relationships that are required to make sure that this relationship is a success. It starts definitely with the relationship between governments, and I'll take care of that, and the Prime Minister will take care of that, and Cabinet will take care of that, but it starts with you also. And so we're there as an ally to support you. Merci beaucoup, ça fait plaisir.
Thank you very much, Minister Joly. We are here to support you. We are here on ground, and we are here to support you. As you said, the businesses are ready. You are creating the environment, so then there is no stopping the India-Canada relationship. And I think with your positive energy, you've infused more strength and vigor in the India-Canada relationship. We look forward to working together. Thank you so much. I'll just take a little time to quickly acknowledge a couple of people I'd like to say. Mr. Ashish Kundra is here, Secretary Transport from the Government of Delhi. Mr. Noor Rahman Sheikh, Joint Secretary ED in the MEA. We have also Mr. George Chahal, Member of Parliament, who's here with us today from Calgary. Mr. Victor Thomas, my counterpart of the Canada-India Business Council, President. Thank you, Victor, for being here. I think if I missed out anybody else, I'm still going to come back over here. Oh, Mr. Pavan Kumar is here, Director, the Department of Economic Affairs. He's helped us a lot with the pension funds, with the financial organizations in helping investments into India. Thank you, Pavan, for being here with us today. I have now a very easy task of introducing and inviting Premier Scott Moe to come and speak, because half of my job was done with High Commissioner Cameron MacKay, who introduced the Premier, and then of course Minister, who said he is the unbeatable Premier. But I would still like to add a couple of lines. We go back a long way, Premier Moe. If you remember, when you were newly elected, I had come to Saskatchewan to meet you, to call on you, to congratulate you, and to personally invite you for our convention in Delhi. And you and your team gave me such a warm welcome. It was totally overwhelming to come to Saskatchewan, see you, meet your government, and you came to India after that. So I thank you for that. And ever since then, the relationship has grown. You've been key to increasing Saskatchewan's economy, jobs for people in Saskatchewan, and of course the exports. Also in helping people, I think, pronounce and to spell Saskatchewan. I think today, since I started 10 years ago, where if you said Sask, it meant that you couldn't pronounce Saskatchewan. Today, people use Sask, but they can also pronounce Saskatchewan. Premier Mom, may I please invite you to come and say a few words? And we are very honored to have you here with us today.
Well, thank you very much, Nadira. Good evening, everyone, and welcome here this evening. And thank you so very much for coming. Nadira, thank you to you and the and all of our partners at the Indo-Canadian Business Chamber for your continued efforts to really strengthen the relationship that we have between Canada and India. And I would thank you personally on behalf of our province of Saskatchewan for the work that you do in strengthening those relations from our province to India as well. It's a real pleasure for me to join everyone here this evening. It's a pleasure for me to also acknowledge Minister Joly. Thank you for not only this visit this week and your advocacy and your efforts in bringing Canada and India's relationship together, most certainly, but your second visit within a month. It took me 5 years to get here for the second time, and you've already done it in a month. And so thank you for your previous visit as well. I think it was very necessary and very productive, and I do appreciate that. Of all of the names that I have had difficulty pronouncing over the course of this last week, we flew in early last Sunday, and when you visit a different country and there are different names and there's different ways to pronounce those names, I didn't think that MacKay was going to be the one that I was going to struggle with this evening. But most certainly, I want to acknowledge our High Commissioner, Cam MacKay, here in India, and thank him and his entire team for supporting not only myself, but certainly supporting Minister Joly through her meetings throughout the week as well. No easy task. I'm sure the delegation with Minister Joly had a much simpler job than the delegation that had to follow me around, as I can be known to be stubborn from time to time. Ladies and gentlemen, I would say that Canada and India most certainly are very much aligned. And I will speak a little more personally from the perspective of the province that I live in, Saskatchewan in India, and I would say that Saskatchewan and India are certainly very much aligned as well. We work so very closely and have for over a half a century now, even much longer than that, to achieve a couple of things, to achieve the mutual goal of food security, through our potash relationship, through our lentil relationship, other agri-food products, but also for us to achieve energy security in our respective nations as well. And we collaborate on the very best practices that we can, whether those be production practices, and I'll bring an example of that, or whether it be in trade practices. And that's some of the work that our federal government and Minister Joly is working on right now. But we do collaborate when we trade food, such as lentils. We do collaborate when we trade for over 50 years potash, for example. And we do collaborate when we are working together to trade things like uranium for clean nuclear power in both our respective nations. We also share a mutual interest and commitment to sustainable production of those products and trading those sustainably products back and forth over the great ocean that is between us. For example, and I want to provide you with a couple of examples this evening. Our agricultural producers in Saskatchewan, I'm very proud of not only what they produce, but we're also very proud in Saskatchewan of how they produce their products. And they're using some of the most innovative methods in the world to produce them. And there's new research now that's been conducted that shows that actually is a fact when it comes to the carbon content in the grains that we are producing in Saskatchewan. And I'll give you just a couple of quick statistics to show you how proud we are in that province. When it comes to our wheat, which is one of our cereal grains, you grow it here as well. When it comes to our canola, which is one of the oil seeds that we grow, and we met with some canola importers here today as well. When you take on a per ton basis the carbon in the production of those Saskatchewan products, there is 60%, actually 64% less carbon in a Saskatchewan produced ton of wheat or canola than there is relative to our competitors around the world. When it comes to field peas and some of our pulse crops, that actually climbs to a 90% reduction in carbon. That's sustainably produced products. That's why we always say, if you need another ton of lentils, if you need another ton of wheat, you should actually come to Saskatchewan to buy it, because not only is it high quality, not only is it competitively priced, but it's some of the most sustainable food that you can buy on earth. And India has been doing it for decades. We did this using the very latest innovation by developing some of that very latest innovation in partnership with our post-secondary institutes, many of which are here this week. For example, we have innovated and implemented zero tillage practices, and those alone have enhanced many things in our ability to produce. They've enhanced our moisture conservation in our soil, which is a challenge, a like challenge and a similar challenge here in India. They have improved our soil health, also a challenge here in India. They have increased our productivity of the grains that we grow in Saskatchewan. Most certainly they have lowered costs, thereby making the industry more profitable for all involved, and that ultimately is the goal. So I raise this as it is this very innovation and technology that we were so excited to share earlier this week at a farm with about 150 Indian farmers. We were able to observe this in Pahawa. There I go. I'm going to come back to MacKay. It's much easier. In Pahawa, Haryana. And it's with our vast land base that we have in Saskatchewan, and you have a similar land base here in India. And it's with that collaborative approach to crop development research that we take with our post-secondary institutes, collaborating with other post-secondary institutes around the world, including those in India, that makes Saskatchewan play such a major role in, and I would say an increasingly important role, being a major food supplier, a sustainable food supplier to the world's rapidly increasing population. We remain, for example, the very largest supplier of lentils to this country. We remain the largest supplier of potash to this country. And we continue to make uranium available to this country and many others for the production of low-emission power, low-emission nuclear power. Saskatchewan remains a strong economic partner in India, and we share a common interest in developing mutual economic activities that benefit both jurisdictions, especially when it comes to those topics of food security and energy security. We also share a very long-standing friendship and an important cultural connection with the strong, growing Indo-Canadian community across our nation and growing in Saskatchewan as well, with over 30% of our immigrants in our province are from this country yet again. Over 55% of our international students in Saskatchewan are from this country yet again. And we all know now, more than ever, today's investors and today's consumers are demanding products that they buy not only be high quality, not only be cost competitive, but they are produced in a sustainable manner. As businesses and governments look to meet those very demands that we are faced with and we are asked about, it becomes very clear to all of us that the food and energy products that are sustainably produced in our province in Saskatchewan, in our nation of Canada, will continue to be delivered to this country, not only today, but for years into the future. And that's why we have been busy taking Saskatchewan to the world stage with our network of international offices. Our New Delhi office has now been open 2 years here. It is open here in support of the work that the High Commissioner and his team do, and what it allows us to do is to create more opportunities as we continue to strengthen that India-Saskatchewan and strengthen that India-Canadian relationship. And from around the world, that investors, I would say, are responding to what we have to offer. When it comes to mining, Saskatchewan is number 1 in Canada. When it comes to mining, Saskatchewan is number 2 in the world, and we're intent on attracting yet additional investment into that space to strengthen our partnerships with many industries from around the world as we expand the products that are being mined in our province and looking at things like rare earth elements and lithium and helium. And we continue to work hard to create the right investment climate. That is a top priority for our government in Saskatchewan. And I would say that the opportunity is ripe. It's ripe in our province and it's ripe in our nation of Canada. We are confident that we can continue to establish new partnerships with our friends right here in this country of India. So thank you so very much to the ICBC for putting this evening on. Thank you to all for your engagement with Canada and Saskatchewan, not just today, but for the years in the past. And I'll thank you in advance for that engagement for years into the future. And thank you especially for attending this special evening tonight. Take care.
Thank you, Premier. And I do hope that it doesn't take you another 5 years to come back to India. Hope to have you back soon and again speak at one of our events. Thank you, Minister Joly, for sparing time to be with us. Thank you, Premier Moore. Thank you, High Commissioner. Just want to again, please, it's my duty, thank my sponsors, Government of Ontario, Air Canada, CGI, Fairfax India Holdings Corporation, ICICI Bank Canada, Dev IT, Huron University, IBI Group, Unis Portal, M Square Media. Thank you to all our members for being here. One final takeaway, those who aren't members, please become our members. In fact, I think today we have a lot of security for both the Minister and Premier. So maybe we can use that. Those who don't become members are not allowed to exit. Just kidding. Please enjoy your evening. Network. Please take advantage of this opportunity to network. Have a great evening. Thank you all of you once again for being here with us.